So Top Gun Maverick just finished with a $124 million opening weekend haul at the box office. A major success and further proof why it's important to show respect to the fans as well as respecting the characters that the fans hold so near and dear to their hearts. Before I get started, I'd like to kindly ask that you hit the like button and please subscribe to the channel for more content just like this.
All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
Now, some may say that elements of Top Gun Maverick are too familiar and it's just a cut and paste version of the original film. While it does hit a lot of the same notes, admittedly, it honestly does one thing very well, and it does it better than any of the other legacy sequels that we've seen come out of Hollywood in recent years. That one thing is reintroduce us to an iconic, beloved character, and not only keeping him consistent with what we already know about him, but also developing the character in satisfying and organic ways.
That makes sense.
You see, typically Hollywood studios see a character or a franchise as nothing more than a name. And they believe that since they own that property, that they have the right to do whatever they please with it. Now you can do that, but it's not always going to have the best results. It's never a good thing when things like canon, lore, or characterization take a backseat to the newest trend in Hollywood, that being subverting expectations. Because typically subverting expectations means ruining that beloved character that everyone came to see. I'm looking at you, Luke. I think more than anything else, the reason that people connect with certain stories involves the characters that are contained within those stories. This is why fandoms are typically protective of those characters, because a built-in relationship has been established with them. We feel like we know them, and oftentimes we know them even better than the people who are now in control of them. The truth is that Top Gun Maverick and the people involved with creating that movie understand Maverick's appeal and set out to reintroduce him in a way that feels both familiar as well as fresh.
Goddamn right, that's the only way I work, Cap.
First impressions are everything. And what do they have Maverick doing in the first scene we see him in since 1986? Well, he's defying his superiors and flying a really fast plane, of course. A simple decision like that tells the audience that this is the Maverick that we remember. That he's still the character that audiences fell in love with all those years ago, even if he is a little bit older.
I'm too old for this shit.
But here's the brilliance of it, they even work his age into his reintroduction. They basically use his age as a plot point that drives Maverick's character forward. Do you really think a guy like Maverick, a renegade, is going to allow a situation where he is replaced by pilotless planes? He takes that prospect very personally because flying planes is his whole life. And this again draws parallels to real-life Tom Cruise and how he approaches filmmaking in a very practical way. And he's still doing it in an age that's been dominated by technology and CGI in Hollywood.
That's right, it stinks!
And we get all of this information and characterization in the first 10 minutes of the film. That's called doing the most with the least amount of time, and doing your character justice. We were also reintroduced to another legacy character this week, that being Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan Kenobi. A character that has an even larger fan base than Maverick does. So you would think the impact of seeing this character again would send shockwaves through the entertainment industry. In reality, it's been met with mostly mixed to negative reactions from fans.
I have a bad feeling about this.
And why is that exactly? Some will say that there's a built-in bias towards Star Wars, or that Star Wars fans expect too much, because you know high standards are a bad thing these days. I would argue that Top Gun fans are pretty passionate, and while they don't equal the numbers of Star Wars fans, they seem to be relatively satisfied with the reintroduction of Maverick. So what's the difference here? Well, first and foremost, I think Top Gun Maverick does a great job of appealing to both fans as well as casual moviegoers. You know, like a good movie should.
No shit.
On top of that, Top Gun's producing team fought to delay the film's release because they wanted audiences to experience it in the way that they intended, in the movie theater. Meanwhile, Star Wars, a once proud franchise and cinematic juggernaut, has been relegated to an inconsistent streaming service. Presentation is everything. But I think the biggest difference is how each of these two stories treats its marquee character.
Because it's all part of the plan.
I already told you how Maverick was reintroduced to us. Do you know how Obi-Wan is reintroduced to us? Not using his lightsaber, not conversing with the spirit of Qui-Gon Jinn, not being a Jedi in any way. He's reintroduced to us as a bitter hermit working in a meatpacking plant.
Why?
Some will say that he has a reason to be upset, he has a reason to have lost hope, and that is why he is in the state of mind that he's in at the beginning of this show. If you're referencing the tragedy that he experienced, as he was forced to take down his apprentice and good friend Anakin Skywalker, well, Maverick experienced a tragedy as well in the original Top Gun when his best friend died, and while it wasn't Maverick's fault directly, he still carries a great deal of guilt over what happened.
Why do you cry?
And remember, Obi-Wan Kenobi, a Jedi, is supposed to be really good at controlling his emotions. Maverick, on the other hand, is typically viewed as a loose cannon and acting off emotion. Yet somehow he deals with his grief in a much more believable way than an all-powerful Jedi Master. And this is what I mean about taking established characters and keeping them consistent. Yes, Maverick is portrayed as having some demons, having some baggage, but these setbacks do not consume him in a way that he ceases to be who he is.
I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude.
In the shallow written world of Disney Star Wars, on the other hand, Obi-Wan has a very similar character arc, apparently, as that of Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi, effectively removing him of any of his uniqueness and turning him into just another character that is going to be deconstructed by Disney. Typically in modern movies, legacy characters are deconstructed because the people involved feel like that's the only way that people are going to connect with them. In all actuality, they are already connected with them even before they watch the show or movie.
I'd buy that for $1.
There's even a new trend of introducing new characters in the hopes of passing the torch to them at some point down the line. But this usually just results in two poorly written characters and a very disgruntled fan base. The truth is that nobody wants to see their favorite character pass the torch to an inferior secondary character. Now you can introduce new characters, but they should not be used to degrade the legacy character. In fact, they should be used to enhance them. Both sides of the equation should benefit from being in the story together.
Then why the fuck didn't you say so?
In Maverick, the new characters are used to build Maverick's legend. Because after all, he is why people are going to watch this movie to begin with. His name is in the title for a reason. We get to see the Maverick that we know while he is also simultaneously dealing with underlying emotional issues. But the character development the whole time feels like it belongs. It feels organic. To me, Top Gun Maverick is the shining example of how to reintroduce a character after a long hiatus. You have to treat them with the same respect that the fans who love these characters have grown to have for them. And once you find out how to effectively do that, all you have to do is sit back and watch the money start to roll in.
Y'all be cool. Right on.